Very good evening to you. Thank you so much for staying with us. You're still watching BTM TV, and now we're getting to begin Btm News Today. A very eventful week it has been, seeing the catching the big fish, what many people have called it. Many people complaining that why this time out and not doing this before. So, but we are continuing to see, as we shall continue even to see today in tonight's bulletin, Agnes Nandutu getting in the coolers for now. One day happy, then another day in the coolers. But let's begin with the issue of potholes that has been raging on Twitter and other social media platforms. Today, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, has summoned the Minister of Kampala, Hajat Minsa Kamanda, to present a statement to the House in regard for the funding of road construction and maintenance for the last 3 years in Kampala. Now, this follows a social media campaign, especially on Twitter, that found its way finally to Parliament. We have the story for you.
This week, social media, especially Twitter, has been awash with the exhibition of potholes on the Kampala roads, which attracted the attention of the Deputy Speaker of Parliament.
Minister for Kampala, next week, I need you on Tuesday to bring a statement to the House on how much money KCC has received for road construction and maintenance for the last 3 years.
Tayebwa has also said Kampala potholes have antagonized the smooth flow of business, also noting that the deep potholes have turned out to be dangerous to the lives of the people who use the roads in Kampala, hence asking for quick actions to be taken.
Because those potholes don't come in a minute. But also the quality of works. We have some of the roads, they cross the road for 2 years to make it, then it develops potholes in 3 months. Now you ask you. So we need to look at that. We shall need which roads were constructed using these funds and maintained, and the status of each road as of now. Of course, last time we received about the loans that we had given, but the situation is so dire. And these are simple rains, because even when you move on that channel of Gwaisi, which they just made, it's again silted. It's again silted. I don't know really what's happening on this. So, Minister for Kampala, next week on Tuesday, we need a statement so that we see whether the problem is from our side, we don't appropriate enough money.
It is upon this that the Deputy Speaker summoned the Minister of Kampala, Hajat Minsa Kamanda, to present a statement on the floor of Parliament explaining funding, construction and maintenance of roads in the city. Btm News Today.
Well, now let's continue. The Parliamentary Committee on HIV/AIDS has revealed that more than 1,000 people get infected by HIV weekly, of which 326 people die of HIV per week, which raises fear among Ugandans, especially child-head families, and also rising homelessness. Now, this has been reviewed by the chairperson of the committee, Sarah Kayagi, while addressing journalists at Parliament earlier on today as they prepare for the Parliamentary HIV/AIDS Advocacy Week that will commence from 25th to 27th of this month. We have more about this.
The chairperson of HIV/AIDS Committee, Sarah Kayagi, has explained that the new infections are mostly among the youth between the age of 15 to 24, which accounts for 37% in the year 2021, with girls being affected the most. Honorable Kayagi further says that they want to implement the presidential directive in ending HIV spread, as of the total number of people living with HIV for now is 1.4 million people.
Aware that Uganda is estimated to have 1.4 million people who are living positively. Out of these, 1.2 million are currently on treatment, meaning that we have a gap of Ugandans who are HIV positive, but they have not enrolled on treatment, which endangers their lives.
Honorable Kayagi added that though there are new infections, Uganda managed to register HIV/AIDS prevalence rate from 7.3% in 2011 to 5.5% as per the Uganda Population-Based HIV Impact Assessment Report of 2022. However, the chairperson showed concern about the 200,000 infected people that are not on medication, having noted that Uganda has an estimated number of 1.4 million people living with HIV/AIDS, of which 1.2 million are currently on treatment. Along the same line, the chairperson of the Uganda AIDS Commission, Eddie Mukoyo, noted that the multi-sectoral approach to fighting HIV/AIDS has helped the virus to reduce, although there are areas like Kalangala with high HIV prevalence.
We registered a decline of about 37% in the HIV related deaths from the 37,000 to 17,000. This is an achievement. However, we still have over 326 people who are dying due to HIV-related cases. It is upon this background that we want to rejuvenate our activities and encourage every Ugandan who tests positive to immediately enroll on treatment.
HIV infections and AIDS-related deaths have reduced to 17,000. And much as we have made progress, HIV infections remain unacceptably high and gendered, with females shouldering a high HIV burden compared to males. Additionally, while HIV prevalence varies across the country, it is highest among certain vulnerable populations, such as fishing communities in Kalangala. To accelerate the fight against HIV and AIDS, in 2017, His Excellency the President of Uganda launched the Presidential Fast Track Initiative to end AIDS as a public health threat by 2030.
Dr. Andrew Kambugu, the Executive Director of the Infectious Disease Institute, has commended the government for the efforts put in place to see that people with HIV have proper treatment, and has explained they have used DREAMS, which means determined, resilient, empowered, AIDS-free, mentored, and a safe way of empowering girls, especially in the burdened areas.
And we thank the government of Uganda for creating an environment where the right policies and laws are made, where resources are entrusted to institutions like mine. Important work that we're doing with young women. The Honorable Chair of the committee highlighted the issue of the infections among young women. We have a program supported by the US government and PEPFAR called DREAMS, targeting these young women. The economic power to bargain in relationships, and so that they are not unduly exposed. So I wanted to highlight directly addresses the key challenge of these 50,000 infections every year.
Dr. Andrew Kambugu, the Executive Director of the Infectious Disease Institute, noted that there is hope for people living with HIV/AIDS who are about to get an injection that at least can take 2 months to reduce the burden of taking ARVs daily, as he expounds.
Paint a picture of hope. Efforts that are well underway to move towards injectable treatment as an option. Our friends, including Dr. Watiti, have to take medication every single day. And so researchers, including those at IDI and the JCRC, are doing work to see, can we move to an injection every 2 months? The results are not yet out, but they're promising. In such world, we are also working on a cure, because we believe that one day HIV can be cured.
For government to invest more in funding for HIV, because we know that most of the money we are now accessing is from our donor. We are grateful that without them I wouldn't be here, and many of our people wouldn't be here. So now when I'm okay like I am, and many Ugandans are okay, they can contribute towards nation building. I pay taxes, and so this money should be plowed back into making sure that we are healthy.
Yesterday, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Tayewa, promised to fund the sectors that do deal with people living with HIV who are in need first.
Now in the budgeting process, and I want to thank the committees. You're doing a tremendous job. Support you'd need from us as a leadership of Parliament, we are ready to give you the support. But as you are aware, according to our rules, we should process ministerial policy statements by 20th of this month of April. And that means on Thursday. And I want to give more time to service-based sectors, which really ensure that they deliver services for our people.
According to the HIV report of 2021, success in the reduction in the number of AIDS annual-related deaths from 37,000 people in 2016 to 17,000 in 2021, with the annual infections for now standing at 45,000. Btm News Today.
Nandutu has become the first minister to be committed to high courts for trial over the Karamoja iron sheet scandal. Nandutu, the state minister for Karamoja, who on Tuesday handed herself over to police, was today at 11 a.m. on Wednesday chauffeured to anti-corruption court in Kololo by police after spending a night in cells at Chila Division Police Headquarters. Our reporter was there when most of this was happening.
The bright legislator cum minister would later exchange pleasantries with journalists as she was being taken to the court cells. Nandutu was later paraded before Grade 1 Magistrate Esther Simwe in one count related to the diverting of iron sheets meant for the Karamoja Community Empowerment Program was read for her. A charge of dealing with suspect property contrary to Section 21A, subsection 1 of the Anti-Corruption Act 2009 was read for her. Under the charge, the Director of Public Prosecutions DPP contends that during the month of June 2022 at the OPM stores Namamve, Mukono District and Kolesel Bulyanyi Parish in Mukono District, the minister dealt with 2,000 pre-painted iron sheets of gauge 28 by receiving and holding the said iron sheets, which she had reason to believe was acquired as a result of loss of public property, an offence under Section 10, subsection 1 of the Anti-Corruption Act 2009. However, Nandutu denied the charges. The prosecution led by David Bisamunyu told courts that investigations into the matter have been completed.
What has happened today that prosecution has decided to commit her to High Court for trial, and now the lower court cannot grant her bail, so we can only apply for bail in High Court. This is the matter that it is triable by both High Court and the lower court. But prosecution has decided that in their wisdom, they should try her from High Court. So it's only in High Court where we shall apply for bail.
The trial magistrate would later read Nandutu's indictment to court and commit her to trial. The state prosecutor also told the court he was ready to disclose all the evidence to be used to pin Minister Nandutu. Nandutu's lawyer, Charles Nanda, told the court that she was not happy with the proceedings in court.
Truth is, we came when we were ready to apply for a client bail, and as you saw, there were sureties in court. Honorable ministers, honorable other members of parliament, they were in court. Unfortunately, what happened is they committed our client to High Court. That means that this court becomes functus official. You cannot have jurisdiction over that matter again. But to our client, she thinks this was deliberate to fail her get bail because this court has powers to grant bail. But what the prosecution did, it was deliberate to fail her to get out. And we had already served them with the documents we are going to rely on in advance. One of the crucial documents was about her health condition, which does not allow her to be in custody for long. So they are all aware of this, but they have done it. All what we are going to do is to go back, file a formal application in the High Court, and get her bail in the High Court there. What is she was diagnosed with a clot, and the same effect has continued, and there is a specialized treatment she's on, which cannot be found in the prison.
The state minister has been adjourned until 3rd May. Nandutu now joins fellow ministers Mary Goreti Kitutu and Amos Logolobi to be arraigned before the court over the same iron sheet saga. Speaking after court, Nandutu told journalists that the iron sheet scandal has been a baptism of fire to her, but noted she will remain firm.
Like I have said before, I have been baptized by fire, but I am firm. And the question that I'm asking is, why should Agnes Nandutu be committed to the High Court when the lower court has the mandate to deal with this?
She, however, becomes the first minister to be committed to the High Court for trial. Several other senior government officials, including Vice President Jessica Lupo, Prime Minister Robin Onabanja, Speaker of Parliament Anita Among, and Finance Minister Matia Kasaija, among others, have also been implicated in the saga. According to police, which is carrying out investigations into the matter, at least 8 ministers in total to be arraigned in court over the same. President Museveni recently said he would take political action against all involved in the Iron Sheet saga that he described as a subversive act. Btm News Today.
Well, now let's move on and see, according to Dr. Alvin Mutebi, legislators need to work to help the government to establish different concerns of the national importance that affect the people in the country. Now, Dr. Mutebi also notes that it is not significant for members of parliament and the government officials to do what they please, citing the issue of Karamoja iron sheets that were swindled by high-ranking officials, that the iron sheets were really not relevant, they assume, not relevant for the community, since they say in Manyata houses, those grad-searched houses. He made the address during the interaction with BTM TV, and our reporter gathered more from this.
Karamoja sub-region, commonly known as Karamoja, is a region in Uganda. It covers an area of 27,528 kilometers and comprises of Kotido district, Kabong, Karenga district, Nabilatuk, Abim district, Moroto district, Napak district, Amdat district, and Nakapiripiriti. The region is projected to have a population of 1.4 million in 2022 by UBOS. Dr. Alvin Mutebi, one of the privileged people that have visited the region in 2021, and he understands the region, including its needs, as he stresses.
It is a very fragile region in Uganda due to its location. It has a number of complex trends to do with the social livelihood of the Karamajongs themselves. You look at the element of them being backward socially, and then in the governance aspect, you find that the governance structures in Karamoja are not that much stipulated, and they do not depict the true understanding or the true representation of a Karamajong person. And that's the reason as to why we've gotten a number of challenges when it comes to the social aspect, whereby we've realized that due to the cultural kind of a complex of Karamoja, you find that they give room for raids, they give room for an escalation of street children, the one that we are having now, to an extent whereby girls are being sold to Soroti Arapai market, and they end up in Kampala streets just to beg and to find livelihood. And somebody would ask himself, why is it that we are only having girls on the streets of Kampala? Where are the boys who come from Karamoja? Does Karamoja only produce girls, or they also produce the boy child? So the boys are busy raiding, the boys are busy taking care of the animals, the girls are busy in Kampala begging on the streets. And then we find the challenge of nobody being in Karamoja taking over the old people. And that's why last time when you saw the pictures, they are only showing the old people dying of hunger. And the young ones you did not see. The young ones who died of hunger were very young children. But the mature ones were nowhere to be seen. So it shows that there is a lot of problems, and there is a lot of need to address the challenges in this region.
According to Dr. Mutebi, it was very irrelevant for the government to give these people iron sheets.
It is absolutely irrelevant. Absolutely irrelevant. And I repeat, it is absolutely irrelevant for government to come up with such a conclusion that these people really need iron sheets. Iron sheets, iron sheets is not the major problem that these people are facing. And besides, who came up with this kind of conclusion that these people really need iron sheets? Because
in his remarks, Dr. Mutebi highlighted the challenges that occur when a minister appointed for a particular region is not from the region, like the ministers of Karamoja Affairs, including Minister Mary Goret Kitutu and the State Minister Nandutu, who are both from different regions.
By ministers or members who are not originally coming from this region, it had a benefit whereby at least somebody would be neutral to deliberate on affairs of Karamoja. But now it has also faced a challenge, because now its original kind of reasoners to the establishment of that kind of office and portfolio, it has not actually, it has not been met, because now the ministers who have been appointed to represent these people do not have a true understanding of this region, do not have a true meaning of this region, and they face a number of challenges, because now they are deviating from representing and forwarding.
It should be remembered that the State Minister for Karamoja, Agnes Nandutu, played a big role in conceiving the Karamojongs to surrender their guns to the UPDF army, one of the key signs that she understood these people. But what picture does she portray if she's among the list of the Iron Sheet's beneficiaries?
She has been involved in the disarmament program. She has been involved in the disarmament program, but that disarmament program, it had a design, which design was not designed by her. She just found it there and she jumped on it, because the disarmament program was designed by the Ministry of Internal Affairs under the conflict early warning and early response mechanism, where she jumped on.
Honorable people of the Karamoja community did not only receive iron sheets from the government, but were also given goats, but they still did not reach their destination. Dr. Alvin says the Karamoja iron sheet scandal should serve as a lesson to the rest of the government officials.
And now we had reached a level of de-radicalization, but due to the fact that now ministers are facing such problems, I believe the radicalization and the escalation of conflicts in this region might go a bit higher, because now the interventions will go lower, and then nobody will be in charge of escalating the disarmament program, because now ministers are busy battling with clearing their names.
As the drama surrounding the Karamoja Iron Sheet scandal continues to take its life of its own, questions are now being asked about the procurement process and costs, as this has already seen the Minister for Karamoja Affairs Kitutu in jail days, Minister for Finance Amos Lugolobi, and the State Minister Agnes Nandutu. Btm News Today.
Well, now let's continue and see what's happening still with the Karamoja saga. Mark Julius Mutawe has encouraged the arrest of all members of parliament who came out and accepted the position of Iron Sheet since it's illegal. It must be noted that since the pronouncement of the investigations, many people, including ministers and MPs, came out to announce that they had the Iron Sheets or had been involved somehow, and others have even returned the Iron Sheets. Let's have a look at this.
It has been practically witnessed in Uganda that iron sheets indeed make a lot of noise after ministers, some members of parliament, decided to take and divide the few that were supposed to be given to the vulnerable people in Karamoja. It became a real case when President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni showed interest in the case via the Twitter account that some ministers are now being held accountable. However, Mark Julius Mutawe, a lawyer, said that members of parliament and ministers who got involved and even accepted to be in possession of the iron sheets, which were meant to be for vulnerable people in Karamoja, should have been the first to be arrested, since receiving illegal government material is a crime.
Yes, people came out and confessed that they received the iron sheets. That was right of them to say, but we would ask, how did you receive them and why? Were you supposed to receive them? Because the law is very clear. Nobody is supposed to receive government stores or government equipment when they are not supposed to. So whoever came out and confessed that they received these iron sheets was like them confessing that they had engaged in crime under the Anti-Corruption Act. For me, I would think that such people who acknowledge the receipt of iron sheets would be the first people to be arraigned in the Anti-Corruption Court, for them to explain why they received the iron sheets.
According to Council Mark, it's only DPP and the IGG with the power to prosecute any cases manifested in the country.
The power to prosecute is vested with the DPP and the IGG. It is them under the Constitution who have the right to know who to charge, when and where. So we shall wait to see what the DPP does with those people who confess that they received, but also those who did not receive, who did not confess. We are, of course, we have seen the action has started. I saw Honorable Lugolobi arrested over the weekend, and he was among those who who acknowledged the receipt. Maybe the DPP has started. So the Constitution has given the DPP that mandate and the IGG. We shall wait and see. Maybe they are still conducting investigations. You know, in law, it is not proper to charge somebody of any offense or crime when you have not done sufficient investigation. It would be improper. So maybe the DPP is still digging out a sufficient investigation such that by the time he delivers these people in court, in the anti-corruption court or any other court, that the files would be ready and then prosecution would start.
Councillor Mutawe has, however, encouraged the DPP and the IGG not to be only based on confessions made by some of the ministers. For example, Honorable Matia Kasaija, the Minister of Finance, and he says individual confessions can be changed at the time, making the case to lose sense.
Honorable Kasaija came out and acknowledged that yes, indeed, they received these iron sheets. But under criminal investigation, the DPP or the IGG cannot only base his or their prosecution on these confessions alone. They must have sufficient evidence, because the principle of law is very clear that it is not upon the accused to prove a case against them. It is the prosecution to prove. Even when somebody confesses, you cannot base on their confession alone to convict them. So you need to have evidence which you can, of course, relate to the confession to be able to convict somebody. What would you just imagine a situation if you delivered them in court upon their confession and then they withdraw it?
Mark Julius Mutawe has, however, disclosed some of the intentions of these confessions made in relation to the Iron Sheet saga, currently making rounds in media and the country at large.
The way us lawyers look at things is not how the ordinary person looks at it. The ordinary person would think that confessing to something would be the end of the matter. But you must know that sometimes some people confess for the purpose of trying to stand between investigation. Somebody can confess because they don't want investigation to continue. You know, somebody can confess when there is something behind which they don't want to come to the light. You understand what I'm talking about? In that effect, it will be that the confession is trying to prevent this investigator from knowing other information which may even be very important compared to what this person is confessing about. So there might have been other criminal offenses. I'm not saying they are aware, but whenever we look at confessions, we look at them with a suspicious eye. Why would somebody make a confession against themselves? Are they trying to cover up something? That's why the DPP and the IGG have to continue investigating this matter and get other information before they arraign people in court because they confessed.
It will be remembered that ministers, for example, Mary Gorech Tutu, the Minister of Karamoja Affairs, the Minister of Finance and Planning Amos Golobi, and the State Minister for Karamoja Affairs Agnes Nandutu have all been arrested and arraigned in court over the same. Btm News Today.
Now let's move on. The Uganda North American Association today have paid courtesy to a courtesy visit to the Uganda Electoral Commission with the aim of ensuring that the Ugandans living in diaspora freely participate in the upcoming general elections. Now this comes after the High Court instructed the Commission to include the voices of people living in diaspora, including the inmates. Now the meeting happened at the offices of the Electoral Commission right here in Kampala, and we have the story for you.
Hold that in June 2020, the High Court ordered the Electoral Commission to register and ensure that all Ugandans above 18 years in prison and in diaspora vote, stressing that their rights had been infringed upon for the last 25 years. Speaking after the meeting, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Justice Simon Byabakama, revealed how all Ugandans have a right to participate in the general elections as stipulated under the law.
Karari Stephen versus Attorney General and the Electoral Commission, which was filed in 2018, restated or reiterated the supremacy of Article 59 and held that citizens in diaspora, as well as inmates, have a right to vote. Because that article does not distinguish where the citizen is located. As long as one is a citizen of 18 years, you have a right to vote.
Byabakama also revealed that the Commission has already designated a team ready to work hand in hand with the involved parties to enable them to freely cast their votes from wherever they will be.
We have already set up a joint task force team, a joint technical task force team with the aim of working out modalities of complying with the order of the High Court to ensure that Ugandans in the diaspora get registered as voters and also they cast votes from wherever they are.
He, however, noted that for this to be a success, lots of efforts need to be incurred, including changing some of the electoral reforms that currently limit people in the diaspora from casting their votes.
It's a process that we are undertaking. It requires a lot of groundwork. We propose to have benchmarking activities in other jurisdictions which are already having diasporans and inmates participating in voting. We also want to propose a number of legal reforms to the current legal framework, electoral framework, which allows diasporans, wherever they are, to cast their votes. Because the current legal framework is for voters who are registered in Uganda and who will be participating at polling stations in Uganda. A citizen of 18 years and above has the right to get registered as a voter.
Meanwhile, the president of the Uganda North American Association, Henrietta Nairuba Wamara, promised all Ugandan citizens living in the diaspora to expect positive results from their engagement with the Electoral Commission.
We just had a very fruitful meeting with Justice Byabakama, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, together with all the other electoral commissioners who were in the meeting. I want to sensitize the Ugandans living in the diaspora and let you know that out of this meeting, we can confidently say that we will be able to vote in 2026 because of all that is being done by the Electoral Commission in Uganda. Out of this meeting, there are a couple of things that were highlighted. The first thing that was highlighted was, of course, how they are working on mechanisms of the voting process, and then also how they are going to abide by the court order that was given to them to make sure that diaspora is able to cast that vote. There are a couple of reforms as well that they are working on to be able to realize our voting process in the diaspora.
She also urged Ugandans that had earlier on swapped their citizenship for foreign to apply for dual citizenship so that they can become eligible for the exercise.
For those Ugandans who gave up their citizenship, it is pertinent that they regain their citizenship either by registering for dual citizenship. In order for you to vote in the upcoming elections, you have to be identified as a Ugandan, meaning you have to ascertain that you are a Ugandan, and that is either by being a dual citizen.
Currently, the 1995 Constitution does not consider people in the diaspora eligible for the election. However, following the High Court's decision to include them means some changes must be realized within the Electoral Act, which is the main agenda of the Electoral Commission currently. Btm News Today.
Now let's take a look at what's making today's BTM Health, and in today's BTM Health we're going to be taking a look at some of the health benefits of steaming. Here we are.
These are the top 5 benefits of steaming. Do you feel that your skin looks grey, tired and completely devoid of vitality? Are you looking for a way how to regain glow and a healthy look of your skin? Then practice steaming. Our skin is mostly damaged by sunlight exposure, wearing synthetic fabrics, bathing in chlorinated water, and constant contact with hundreds of chemicals. Hot steaming helps to rejuvenate our bodies and neutralize the effects of the aging process. Additionally, body steaming is perfect for people who need a rest after a busy day of work.
The hot steam has a soothing effect on your senses, calms and relaxes our bodies. Thus, the steaming session constitutes an introduction to a massage, or it precedes other beauty treatments. Here is how it works. Number 1, it cleans your skin. To naturally protect itself, our skin produces sebum that keeps it lubricated. When the sebum together with the dirt and bacteria are stuck in our pores, it causes breakouts, blackheads, skin irritation to appear. Now, after exposing your skin to hot steam, to begin your sweat, and as a result, your pores open up. Consequently, this helps to clean your skin from sebum which is stuck in the pores. Therefore, by preventing pores from clogging and both steaming your skin cleans and frees your skin of breakouts and infections. Number 2, avails anti-aging. Body steaming triggers a thermoregulating response, causing skin vessels to dilate and leading to improved flow of blood through the skin cells. Consequently, improved blood circulation leads to more nutrients and oxygen being delivered to skin cells. As a result, the skin gets a healthy glow that makes it feel great and look less wrinkly. Even more, sweating helps to transmit nutrients and minerals in the skin. Thus, it can aid building a healthy collagen structure. Moreover, it helps to combat the dull and discolored look of the skin by stimulating new skin cells production. Number 3, it detoxes. Sweating, whether it's from the exercise or a hot steam, causes your skin to open up skin pores. As a result, the body is able to release toxins at a faster rate. Most noteworthy, body steaming causes the skin to sweat a lot more than usual. It becomes a great natural way of removing waste products from your body. Number 4, it relaxes. Capillaries dilate when exposed to hot steam, so blood can flow freely and easily through the whole body, transporting oxygen and leaving you feeling refreshing. Adding essential oils to the body, steaming treatment turns into a relaxing aromatherapy experience. As a result, after such a session, you will feel rejuvenated, content, and considerably less stressed. It relieves tension. Hot steam soothes your nerve endings and also warms and relaxes your muscles. Due to the exposure of high temperatures, it can minimize joint pains, arthritis, migraines, and headaches. Hot steam can penetrate deep into the muscle tissues, consequently effectively helping in the muscle recovery. As a result, body steaming can be a perfect remedy for a post-workout or delayed onset muscles or soreness. BTM Health for BTM News Today.
We're going to be taking a very short break, but when we return, we still have more news for you. So you just stay with us.
Are you looking for a one-stop center to host your conference or meeting, wedding parties, workshops or seminars? Thobani Conference Center has the perfect modern space for your event. We have spacious outdoor and indoor space to accommodate over 1,000 and below 150 people, offering free lighting, LED screens, free sound system, free chairs, free Wi-Fi, and secure basement parking space. Drop by at Cafe at 2 and we will be at your service with our finest coffee, espresso, cappuccino, and cafe latte. Enjoy incredibly delicious meals, grab a milkshake or a cocktail juice. Only at Cafe at 2. And that's not all. We have the latest video games for the game lovers. We are located in the city center at the Thobani Center Building Level 2 along Ginger Road opposite DFCU Bank. For more information and bookings, call 0772 307875 or 0750 647486. Thobani Conference Center, the place to be.
Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. You're still watching Btm News Today. My name is Paul Collins. A very eventful week it is as we see the big fish still being caught. Earlier on today, Agnes Nandutu, who is the State Minister for Karamoja Affairs, was also remanded to Luzira Prison, and from there she will be returning back to court on 3rd May. So a couple of days in there before she sees freedom. Probably, maybe will be given, maybe not. But let's continue this evening, and this evening we're going to be taking a look at the fact file. And in today's fact file, we're going to be taking a look at the Statue of Unity. This is found in India, one of the tallest statues. Let's have this.
The Statue of Unity is the world's tallest statue with a height of 182 meters, located near Kevadia in the state of Gujarat in India. It depicts the Indian statesman and independent activist Vallabhbhai Patel, who lived between 1975 and 1950. He was the first deputy prime minister and home minister of independent India, adherent Mahatma Gandhi. Patel is highly respected for his leadership in uniting 562 princely states of India to form the single union of India. The statue is located in Gujarat on the Narmada River in the Kevadia colony, facing the Sardar Sarovar Dam, 100 kilometers southwest of the city of Vadodara. The project was first announced in 2010, and the construction started in October 2013 by Indian company Larsen & Toubro with a total construction cost of 27 billion rupees. That is US dollars 422 million. It was designed by Indian sculptor Ram Visuta and was inaugurated by the Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi on October 31st, 2018. Narendra Modi announced the project on 7th October 2013 to mark the beginning of his 10th year as the Chief Minister of Gujarat. A society named SADA, the Statue of Unity movement, was started in 2013 to collect the iron needed for the statue by asking farmers to donate their used farming instruments. By 2016, a total of 135 metric tons of scrap iron had been collected, and about 109 tons of it was used to make the foundation of the statue after processing. A marathon titled Run for Unity was also held on 15th December 2013 in Surat, and in support for the project. The total height of the structure is 240 meters, with a base of 58 meters, and the structure and the statue measuring 182 meters. The height of 182 meters was specifically chosen to match the number of seats in the Gujarat Legislative Assembly. The Statue of Unity was built by a public-private partnership model, with most of the money coming from the government of Gujarat. The Gujarat state government had allotted $80 million in 2020 for the project. Its budget from 2012 to 2015. Funds were also contributed by public sector undertakings under their Corporate Social Responsibility Scheme. A consortium comprising of Turner Construction, Michael Graves and Associates supervised the project. The project took 57 months to complete, 15 months for planning, 40 months for construction, and 2 months for handing over by the consortium. The total cost of the project was estimated to be $350 million by the government. The tender bids of the first phase were invited in October 2013 and were closed in November 2013. L&T employed over 300 workers and 250 engineers in the statue's construction. The construction of the monument was completed in mid-October 2018, and the inaugural ceremony was held on 31st October 2018. The statue is divided into 5 zones, of which only 3 are accessible to the public. Over 128,000 tourists visited the statue in 11 days after its opening to the public on November 1st, 2018. It has been included in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization 8 Wonders of SCO. Its first year of operation, the Statue of Unity attracted 2,900,000 visitors and collected US dollars 11.64 million in ticket revenue. By 15th March 2021, 5 million tourists had visited the venue. It was visited by 10 million people by November 2022. Fact file for Btm News Today.
Now let's take a look at what's making our international news this evening.